Looking at my paragraph text over here, I'm starting to wonder exactly why each line is so close together, because I remember I clearly set a line height to, I think it was like 1.4 EMs in my style sheet. So this is a case where your code could easily get out of hand, and I want to kind of do a little bit of cleanup. So well, it's cascading style sheets, right? And so that means that the order in which they're set in my document is going to define the cascade. Now, I'm going to go to Dreamweaver and kind of look at this big mess of links that I have in here. This is a lot of style links I have. So I'm trying to keep a strategy. And basically, I don't mind having these things having more style sheets referenced in, because all of these are specific to my plugins. But I have this one that's just calling the Google font. So I think what I want to do is import, use the @import function in my main.css to bring this in instead of putting it right there. Because if you look at my main, I do have I do define my type in there. So you know what? So I'm thinking, so let's just say that. For starters, I'm going to rename my resets thing to imports in my style document. And here, I'll just put the note, my CSS resets, so I know what that's about. And I could put that here and put it there. Now I'm going to do the same business with the @import. And I'm going to bring in that Google URL. So all I need is this middle part over here. Don't forget to get the colon light and bold, because this is an API call, right? So I copied that. Let me go back to my main.css. Here we go. Bring that in. And I'll certainly put a comment in there that says Google Font API. So that kind of organized it according to the way I'm trying to keep my stuff organized, and I want to save this. Go back to my source, and let me delete this entire line over here. I'm not going to need that. And the other thing to note is that my main.css is the first one, and then all these other ones are cascading down. So I could likely have some problems over here. Let me bring this down and save it. And now at least I know, as the browser renders all these styles according to these different files, mine is going to be the last one. So whatever I've redefined. So if there's, like, for some reason, if the h1 tag is inside the thickbox.css and I redefine it in my main is going to be the one that actually takes, that's going to be rendered in the browser. So there we go. I'll save that. And now let me give this a refresh. Interestingly enough, it did not work for me. And now I have some other issues to deal with. Let's see. I wonder why this is not being rendered. Maybe I'll do view style information. And the P, there's no, well, I guess, hey, maybe there's a syntax error in my main.css. Let's see what happens here. See, I have a line height set to 1.4. Let's see what happens if I set it to something crazy. Oh, well, I guess it's not that crazy. I guess maybe it's just the way these fonts work. So, but ultimately, that's, I got some spacing there. Maybe let's see how consistent this is in other browsers. I don't want to make that too. Okay, I guess it's just a symptom of potentially the font itself. Let let me go ahead and at least make that a bit smaller and save it, and make sure that at least in my header over here, yeah, I want this to, I think it may even be light by default if I don't define it. Ah, there we go. Alright, pretty good. Let me bring this. I also noticed just on a little final cleanup that my G over here is hanging. And since I was clever and only used padding top to adjust that, maybe I could move it 5 pixels up and and I got rid of it. There we go. See, a good implementation of a fix makes adjusting it, see it's also down here, makes adjusting things much easier. Okay. So not too shabby.